My name is Russ Martin, and I'm the Director of Digital Engagement for the Lausanne Movement. And I'm also the Managing Director and one of the co-founders of the Indigenous Global Network.
Hi, my name is Simon Seow. I am a senior digital strategist with the Global Digital Strategist team for Crew Global, and I'm also one of the co-founders and a lead catalyst for our Indigenous Global Network.
Well, back in 2013, we realized that around the world, the internet was becoming a big thing. Social media was kind of in its infancy. And in the same way that back in the Bible times, the Roman roads enabled the gospel to go forth to new places and new spaces, we believed that the internet and digital technology and digital media would be a significant way of spreading the gospel in the decades ahead. And so we wanted to call the body of Christ to figuring out new and innovative ways of bringing the gospel where it needs to go.
And we were, discovering that lots of people were already trying innovative ways to bring the gospel in fresh ways to engage with folks. And what better way is to bring them together to learn from one another. And then also those that are in the marketplace, God has uniquely written digital in their story. How do we help them and activate and mobilize them and connect them to one another so that they can work on missional problems together? Yeah, so that's kind of like the genesis of Indigenous. We, to be frank, at that point, we were just taking a step of faith and seeing what God would do, and it really surprised us that God was already preparing people to step into this kind of work. Yeah.
So the Lausanne movement is all about connecting influencers and ideas for global mission. And our vision is that the gospel would get to every person, and that there would be a disciple-making church for every people and place, that there would be Christ-like leaders in every church and every sector, and that there would be kingdom impact in every sphere of society. And what we desire to do is connect people around the world, whether it's in certain geographies, whether it's within certain generations, or whether it's around certain issues like creation care or business as mission or media and technology or evangelism to Hindus. We are calling people together and convening them together in those regions, around those issues, and across generations, so that that fourfold vision that I described will be accomplished.
So for Crew, the vision is that we would see movements everywhere so that everyone knows someone who truly follows Jesus. And that's kind of the big picture. And in the specific area that I work on is to use digital to help us win more boldly, to build more deeply, and then to send more urgently. What would it be like to make the mission of Jesus available to anyone, anywhere, and anytime? And in this digital world, it's possible, and it's very much connected to the heart that really, just like the picture in Revelations, every tongue, every tribe, every nation, we're talking about every touch screen as well, right? So that's the push for us to help our global organization, and it's a privilege of mine to coach and guide our global leaders to figure out better ways to fulfill that mission. And Indigenous became an expression of that. We played a part to kickstart it some 7 years ago, and we still want to play a part to energize it, even though now, honestly, Indigenous has become, you can say in the software world, kind of open source. Lots of people are contributing to it and shaping it and making it even better.
I moved to Singapore in 2019, and some of my colleagues said that there's this place in this center called the Digital Mission 360 Hub, and you need to get there. You need to see it. You need to meet the people. And I did, and I was just so thrilled to find like-minded people that wanted to see technology, to see digital strategies, to see digital media, to see a startup culture sort of redeemed and help the gospel move forward, and plant churches and evangelism and discipleship, all using digital.
So for me, it was actually at a McDonald's with SC. So even before it started, SC had actually reached out to me. He heard my names, and somehow somebody told him, "You got to meet this guy." And we caught up at McDonald's in Pasir Ris, and then further discussions in the cafe at 360. And I counted it an honor that we had a chance to be the initial team with SC to kind of build the foundation of figuring out what is this thing called. It wasn't even called DM360, and so it's just satisfying, I suppose, to see it take root and grow to where it is today. And praise God for, as we obey Him, we saw people, being recruited, people just putting up their hands, and people's hearts kind of getting excited when they heard something like this.
So one of the highlights of my time in collaboration with DM360 has been we hosted a group of leaders from, I want to say 7 or 8 different countries from across the Asia Pacific region. And we were working on figuring out how to use digital media effectively in YouTube with one of our partners, and how to share content and how to build user journeys around that. And for the work we were doing, it was a really important meeting. And it was so nice to be able to have access to a space and a place that had everything that we needed, that had a nice reading room, a nice meeting room, had ample space and whiteboards, the furniture that we needed, the proximity to food, great location, near the MRT, near some really good food, all of that. So just a really good space for us to host an important meeting and collaboration, a sprint that we held.
The thing that really I felt was kind of the initial stage of this thing coming together, and when we had the celebration of hope and live stream event that was held in the auditorium. SC was very supportive of that. I together with Russ, we led that project to recruit folks. I think we had close to 80 online responders that were gathered in that room, and we were just waiting for chats on Facebook and people to interact with. I think to me that stayed as a key memory. The funny thing though, actually, I wasn't in that room. Russ was there, and I can share a little video about that. If you like, for your listeners and viewers. But to me, that captured a sense of what it's possible when the people of God, with the varied gifts, talents, experiences, say, "Hey, we want to do something together and make it happen." Something amazing, and we literally brought hope beyond the stadium, because that was kind of where we were pitching. If those who could not come or did not want to come into the stadium, they still had a chance to hear the message of hope on their devices. And as you heard my story, I don't think I needed a convincing. I think once I heard that, hey, people wanted to set this space aside, we were like, okay, this may be the way God was preparing. You both need the opportunities, and sometimes a physical space, and then the community. So I would say to those of you who are watching this that, if you are passionate about digital and passionate about God's mission, these are the folks that you want to meet and connect with. They are entrepreneurial, they're innovative, they love Jesus, and they are just creative, and they want to do things together.
Yeah, I'm imagining in the space and in the community, there's going to be more talent, more companies, more organizations that we can really build partnerships with, that we can collaborate together with, that we can hire and co-create with. So I think there's going to be some really neat opportunities for synergy of bringing people together to accomplish things they couldn't accomplish on their own.
If we could identify what are the missional gaps in our city or in the region, and maybe in partnership with Love Singapore or some other larger network, and say, can we run after this together with all the companies, organizations, and the funders and the practitioners? I think there is something unique that we can work on together. As Russ sort of alluded to, we are stronger together. We all fit a different piece, but we would bring something to bear. And I think it would only be something we can do together and not separately.
I think there's two sides of advice that I would give to a young Christian entrepreneur. I think the first is the spiritual development of that. Your walk with the Lord and with Christ is the most important thing that you can develop. That no matter how your business goes, no matter how good or bad things are going, no matter how fast or slow you're scaling, you need to be investing your time and your energy in your walk with the Lord, to be daily spending time with Him and in His Word, and with all the apps and tools that are available now. There's so many ways that you can grow spiritually, especially in digitally accelerated ways. So spend the time to develop good habits in there is how I would advise someone. And then in terms of the strategic end of the work, I think just maintaining an agile posture of learning and failing quickly, I think is critical to getting a minimum viable product, to learning about the market, to figuring out what works. And you got to try a lot of different things in order to make something work. So don't be afraid to just put things out there and learn.
You are Christ's workmanship. You are His unique handiwork, and God created you not just for you to feel belong, but for you to do good work. So that is a key foundation. um, and then the primary call of God to shine for Him wherever He's placed you. I would say that if God has called you into the business marketplace or the missions field, we just pressed into that, recognizing that He's going to help us in that journey. All right, doesn't mean it's always simple or easy, but God will surround you with the right people. One piece of advice I would say is, like, don't do it alone. Right? Recognize that you don't have it. You don't have all the pieces, and that sense of humility that I can learn and others can help me. You can discover some of that even within this community at DM360. The encouragement, the love, the prayer support, and all that matters. So we run farther together.